Hey, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. So last week we talked about how to prevent the flu, right? This is the season of the should I's. I get all of the should I's. Should I get the flu shot? Should I, what should I do if I don't get the flu shot? What should I do if I get the flu? Um, and if you've been around long, you know how I feel about the word should. Like should is it ought to be a bad word because like a cuss word, I say bad word, I guess kids, but it ought to be a bad word because you shouldn't do anything. Like shouldn't be the reason. It's what's optimal for you to do, what's best for your body. Each person is completely different. And so each person, each outcome is going to be different for you. So last week, I talked about the flu shot a little bit, and the full episode is live on iTunes now, the full podcast, as well as on the blog if you prefer to read, make that accessible for everyone. But I talked about, is there really a flu season? No, there's not. I talked about, is the flu shot effective? I gave the facts and listed the studies and what is found about the effectiveness of the flu shot. We talked a little bit about the flu shot industry. We talked about if the flu shot works collectively in certain populations, like in adults or kids or geriatrics, so older people or pregnancy. And then we talked about what to do. I called it what to do instead of the flu shot, but really it's what to do whether you get the flu shot or not. It's important things to do for your immune health. So we talked about taking a good quality probiotic. You want to make sure you're taking at least 50 billion CFU a day. You want to make sure you're taking a good quality omega-3 krill oil. If you're plant-based, let me know. I can give you a substitute for that. You want to be taking 3,000 to 5,000 milligrams per day, and a good quality vitamin D, because we know two things about this supposed flu season. One thing is that we have a lot more inflammation during this time of season, be it from being indoors or from the type of nutrition that we get. And two, that one of the main reasons why our immune system takes a dive in the fall and winter and people get things more frequently like the flu, that it's because of a lack of vitamin D, which is an important precursor to almost everything in our immune system. So we talked about that. We also talked about, that those were the three things that you absolutely needed. And then there are also some other things that are good for you, which, I do have it. Things like forest folk fungi, elderberry reishi elixir stuffs. And then what I said I would do is talk today about, oh crap, what do I do if I got the flu, or my kid gets the flu, or my husband or partner or whatever gets the flu. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So there are some things you can do. So if you get the flu or a virus, one, it's not necessary to go in and get tested to see if you have actual influenza. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if you got the flu shot or not. You're more likely to get the flu if you got the flu shot because your immune system is going to be in the tank. So keep that in mind. But there are some things that you can do. I'm going to grab a sip. There are some things that you can do to help make that last as short as possible, to help ease that transition. And these things go for any time you're sick, whether it's viral or bacterial, whether it's the flu or a cold or anything else. If you'll go back a few videos, you'll see I actually had two people come back and say, oh my God, I tried your baking soda remedy and it totally worked. It wasn't my remedy. It's an old remedy from a long, long time ago. It's just one that was sort of handed down that I know about, but I use it when I get sick. So the other things that we're going to talk about are what to do. So there's a short version and a long version. So of course you want to rest, right? Rest is the most important thing that you can do if you get sick, whether it's the flu or anything else. You want to stay out of the doctor's office. You don't want to compound what you've already got, the flu with strep or the flu with whatever else is going around. There's not a good reason to go unless you're running a really, really high fever or you have a bacterial infection. The doctor cannot help you with a viral infection, okay? You want to make sure you continue taking your vitamin D. If you can hold things down, continue taking your vitamin D, your probiotics, and your omega-3s. In fact, I would double your probiotic dose from 50 billion to 100 billion CFU. Something's not working in there if you're getting sick, okay? Bone broth. Bone broth is super important. Not chicken broth, not beef broth, not chicken noodle soup, bone broth. Now, used to be the only way you could get bone broth is by going to the butcher and getting some bones and making it yourself. However, there are some good organic versions. I've seen them at Kroger. I've seen them at Sprouts. They might have them at Walmart, but I'm not sure. And I've seen them at Albertsons for sure. So you want bone broth. You want it to have all of the sodium and all the fat in it, so don't get the fat free or the low salt or any of that stuff. All the sodium, all the fat, all the good nutrients are going to be important for you in your healing. You want to continue taking things like your forest folk fungi. I usually take 1 dropper a day if I'm not sick. If I am sick, I'm taking multiple droppers a day, 2, 3, 4 droppers a day, okay? So you want to continue doing that. Let me make sure I have this. And then a lot of times you can go to Target or Walgreens, any of the little pharmacies, and find a homeopathic remedy for flu. This is the one that I recommend. It's not actually sold in stores, and I can put the link up below. But you're going to use something like this. They have it for flu, they have it for strep, they have different types for different reasons. That's definitely something that you'll want to add to your regimen. The biggest problem that I see people have is they get a little fever and they get all panicked. And so I want to talk to you a little bit, not just about the things that you can take, right? You want to take a good liposomal vitamin C as well. So you want to keep doing all of your supplements. You want to add more vitamin C. You might try the baking soda remedy. You want to increase things like forest folk fungi, elderberry, reishi elixir, and you want to add a homeopathic blend, which I'm a clinical homeopath. So if you need information on which one to use for whatever ailment, then please let me know. But the main thing I want you to know, if you don't do any of those things, I want you to know about the fevers. So whether you have a bacterial or viral infection, your body gets a fever to make your body, it's your body's defense system. It raises its temperature to make the body inhospitable to the invading bacteria or virus, okay? So what I typically see happen is, oh my gosh, my fever has reached 100.1, 100.1, or even 100 even. I better get out the Tylenol and the Advil and start alternating these to get rid of this fever. Don't do that, please. Don't reduce the fever, ever. It prolongs the length of the infection, whether it's viral or bacterial. So instead, notice the symptom of a fever as a welcome sign of your body working to fight against whatever bug has invaded it. So there are some reasons to call for help or to start to lower a fever. If a child under 6 months old has a fever of 100.4, or has any other serious symptoms, then that's a reason to lower a fever. So in a child under 6 months of age. A fever of over 108, again, this number is different for everyone, but you know, and symptoms, your outward symptoms are more important than the number on the thermometer, then that's a reason to either call for help, take somebody into the doctor, or work to lower the fever. If you have a fever for more than 48 hours continuously, that probably warrants a call to the doctor. If you have additional symptoms with that fever, like a stiff neck, listlessness, if you're sensitive to light, rapid breathing, or a feeble pulse, a weak pulse, those are reasons to call the doctor. Vomiting or diarrhea for more than 6 hours with a fever, showing signs of dehydration, that's a reason to call the doctor. Any sign of respiratory distress at all, call 911, okay? If you suspect the fever as a result of being exposed to toxins or poisons, that's a reason to get help, to work to lower the fever. Or if your intuition says that there's something more serious than a simple viral or bacterial infection, that's a reason to lower the fever or get help. But know that when you're reducing a fever, you're prolonging the length of the viral or bacterial infection, always. So if you're not lowering the fever, what are you going to do, right? Because fevers are by nature uncomfortable. Hi, Maria. I hope you catch all this. It's really, really good information on the fevers and what to do instead. So we're not lowering fevers, right? Unless they meet certain criteria, because lowering a fever reduces your body's ability to fight the disease. I say disease like it's something tragic, to fight the viral or bacterial infection. So things you can do to help a fever without medication include lots and lots of fluids. So water, if you have a fever and you can't hold water down, because I know sometimes fever can make your tummy a little iffy, you're just taking a sip, a tablespoon or a teaspoon at a time, and continue doing that. Herbal tea, that's another great one, especially chamomile tea, bone broth, and then if the child's young enough, breast milk, right? Again, like I said, you want to double up on probiotics. So if you're taking 50 billion, take 100 billion. If you're taking 25 billion, take 50 billion. If you're an adult, I hope you're taking 50 billion already. Go on a date with Mama Earth, right? So even if the weather isn't, you know, permitting it, so it's raining or whatever, get somewhere and get your bare feet on the earth. We've even sat with our warm cup of chamomile tea, covered up in a blanket, with our feet on the earth to ground ourselves when we're not feeling well, or get out in the sunshine, even if it's cold. You can use magnesium spray to soothe muscle aches and headaches. So I recognize that sometimes swallowing a pill when you have a fever may be difficult, or if you have a child, so you can get the magnesium spray. They have it on Amazon. You can get the magnesium spray and spray it on the body. It's absorbed very, very quickly through the skin, and it can help to ease muscle pain and body aches that are associated with the flu or with fever, viral infections in general. Take them to a chiropractor for adjustment. Often this can make the fever stop pretty much instantly, and not stop in a way that, you know, we've stopped the body's ability to heal, but it forces the issue through the neurological system, and it forces the issue, and it just, I've seen people healed, you know, almost like a healing, but healed just like that from getting a chiropractic adjustment. And then of course, take a soothing bath. So if you do decide to do the soothing bath, be mindful of the water temperature. You don't want to take a hot bath and make the fever worse. And it's often difficult to adjust the water temperature for somebody who has a fever, because even a warm bath or a hot bath can feel cold to them because their skin temperature is so high. So, you know, as always, I want to say all of that you just listened to. You know, can y'all see my dog? There's a dog nose. You may be listening to this and have not worked with me or not working with me directly. Oh, she wants to be in the camera. And I'm not your health provider, and I don't play one on the internet. So I want you to be able to make that informed decision. That's great, Bailey. To make that informed decision for yourself, and to always follow your own intuition. But in general, you want to make sure that you allow the body to raise that temperature to make it inhospitable for germs. So that really about wraps it up, which is good because I needed to run a few errands. This is Bailey, by the way, everyone. Bailey is a rescue. We've had Bailey since Bailey was a baby, and she's not a baby anymore, she's big. Priorities for getting rid of the flu or virus are basically the same as having a virus. Mouth kisses from the puppy. But you want to make sure you continue taking all those supplements, your omegas and vitamin D, get plenty of grounding, lots of bone broth, lots of fluids, and increase that vitamin C. And then of course, get yourself a homeopathic remedy. And if I find that a lot of times the stores are out of these. So I do have a few left in stock. So if you want to get that information, then I can ship. I have, I think, 6 of these left if anybody else needs one, just to keep on hand just in case. So if everyone has an amazing Wednesday. If you have any questions, as always, pop them in the comments box. Last week's freebie was the immune system cheat sheet. So it lists out with links on where you can get all this good supplementation and vitamins. It also has a direct link to the fevers cheat sheet. And this week will be a cheat sheet all about what you can do to, how to care for yourself, how to care for your body if you have the flu or a virus of any kind. So I will see you all soon. Be well.